day 2 and we're heading up on the cable car this morning, and the plan is to go up, follow some kind of ski route, or some routes that are normally used for skiing in the winter, and then look onto the back of Mt Blanc and that kind of area. So we're going up there, and then we're going to be heading around to there. So we kind of look onto the back bit around there, which is where we'll be doing kind of the majority of stuff. See how we get on. Full group's going today, so it might be a bit of a mixed bag. But yeah, feeling pretty good after yesterday's hiking. Feeling pretty strong, no aches or pains or significant anything else. So yeah, another day of it today. Looking forward to it. Spike bits on, just dig in a bit more.
Where are we going? We're going down here?
Going down, Rick?
Okay.
Just epic, these views, aren't they? A little pit stop ahead. So welcome to day 2 of the Chamonix trip. Today we were down at the other end of the valley, so we were the other end of where we'd been the day before. Slightly more climbing today, so we actually ended up doing about 2 miles less overall distance, but we did a lot more ascent and descent. If you just look up above that tree line, we are going to be climbing that peak later on, which we weren't originally planning to do, but we ended up doing about halfway. Half the group went on and half the group went up that peak, which was a little bit hairy at points, but well worth the climb. Did you?
Yeah, I just went English back to me.
What did you say?
They can have a big mineral.
How did you say that in French?
Mineral?
No, but say exactly what you said.
I said,
Well, that's not French, that's you speaking English.
maybe I said big mineral, s'il vous plaît. And he went, large water.
You know big isn't French.
Grand.
Oh, so you said Grant?
No, I said big.
Oh.
And he was like, big water, large water. Yeah.
I couldn't help put that bit in about Jess supposedly speaking French to the man saying, "Can I have a large mineral, s'il vous plaît?" And that was her version of speaking French. But anyway, I digress. So once we've come down through that wooded bit, we walked along, and this was our view for most of the day, to be honest. It was, yeah, pretty spectacular. So we're the other side of Mont Blanc now. So Chamonix kind of sits in one valley. We had gone up and over into the valley the other side, so we were kind of looping around the back of Mont Blanc. And yeah, so we were going along this kind of single track the whole way there, which if you look down is it just doesn't do it justice when you're watching on video, but literally if you step off, you're going all the way down. So it's pretty hairy at points, even here, even along this track, and there's some bits further on along in the video that kind of show how nerve-wracking it can be at points. But yeah, this side is probably, yeah, I'd probably say it's my favourite, just because of the views, just because of the variation of terrain, and it's so nice kind of walking through woodland. It's a little bit more covered, but yeah, kind of walked along here probably for the best part of 45 minutes before we descend down towards the waterfall, and kind of cross on a rickety old bridge down there, but you will see that a little bit further along.
I think it's inevitable. If you're really, really athletic in sport and you do loads, but you're not necessarily extremely athletic. You know what I mean? You're always get it.
It's a bit hairy.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
And she used to run a lot when we were younger. Every morning across the weekend she'd go out and do maybe 5 miles. Making this gardening. So muscly.
Hey? There's a bit of a rope on the side just to pull yourself up that rock bit. It's a little bit hairy at points as there is a drop all the way down. But I mean, walking along this part is beautiful. You've got the whole of the valley, the other side of the mountain behind. So if you look back there, you've got the whole valley. We've come from all the way up there, and then you've got this section of Mont Blanc to look at as well, going through all this greenery along this little one-track path. Most of the time it's alright, it's pretty wide, but there are some points where it gets a little bit narrow. Yeah, unreal. So once we came out or off that path, we then went for a little bit in the open. This was literally probably only about 5-10 minutes, and then we began to descend down towards the waterfall, which you'll kind of see in a minute. The problem with anything going downhill, especially when it's early or in the middle of the day, is that you know eventually you're going to have to come back up it. So this kind of bit that you're about to see in a minute was pretty steep and probably continued for about 10-15 minutes down, which again is fine when you're going down it because it's a nice little break. Majority of the day up to this point had been uphill or just along. But yeah, when you get down to this bit, it's a nice break. But you do know that in the latter half of the day, when you are going to be tired, you are going to have to come back and face it uphill. As you can see, I had to kind of take this bit fairly slowly on the way down. There wasn't much grip. It's kind of fairly loose underfoot for the first part, and then it kind of evens out a little bit the further on down we go. But still quite nice to be out of the shade or out of the sun, so in the shade. And there's still, this was a Sunday, so there's still quite a few people out here. We did it before, the year before, and I think we got like a bank holiday or something because it was absolutely chock-a-block, which is fine. But when you're going along bits like this, and we do actually meet some people a bit further along, or along the waterfall where it is just a bridge which has one track, it can kind of get a bit backlogged at points. So doing this in the middle of the week is probably the best bet, but you're probably still going to come into contact with some people just because it's such a popular route in that area. So where we're going? Yeah, just come from all the way down there. There's a little bridge you can't see. But there's the river coming down off the glacier of Mont Blanc. So all the way from the top, and then we're just coming around the side. Little tough uphill section. So obviously once we came down, we crossed the river on that bridge. So actually as you're in the middle of that bridge, you can feel the cold coming off that glacial water. So that water will melt higher up in the glacier, which you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, and come down. So when you're standing in the middle, it's actually quite refreshing because you can feel the cold water coming off, or the kind of, the coldness of the water. And yeah, you might have seen a bit of a shake at the end as I was going over that bridge, just because the two guys behind were bouncing up and down. I was kind of a bit confused because it felt fine all the way through to the end, and then it got really, really wobbly. And I was like, what is that? Turn around and those two were jumping up and down. So yeah, that explained that. But then we kind of got to this open point in the last bit with those views. We then went uphill again. It's probably spent another 20-25 minutes going uphill to the kind of midsection, which you can see just ahead there. We were pretty lucky in the fact that all of our group were pretty similar in abilities, so there wasn't much waiting around, and everyone was kind of moving as they wanted to. There was no kind of pressure or frustration or anything like that, so which I think is really important with this kind of thing, just so everyone can kind of get out what they want of it. 100 and gone down about 150, I think. Day 2. Obviously climbed all the way from down there. We originally came from all the way up there, just in the dip of that, where those peaks are behind. See, Mont Blanc is behind there. Currently going uphill to the next kind of section. But we've climbed about 400 metres in the last 2 hours. Only got about 3k. It's pretty tough going. But yeah.
Just have a little rest for a minute.
Yeah.
See, with that shit like you did already.
Let me just get up this bit off the edge.
Oh, don't push me backwards.
You can never fall far on this stuff anyway. section.
Yeah, there's no way. Could have
Nothing
come.
there, is there?
Nah,
Dad didn't go that way.
I don't think there is that way.
Might have been last year.
Yeah. So after we got up to that kind of midsection, so this valley bit on the right hand side, we'd walked all the way up in between kind of two, I guess, peak points. We then went up one of those, which you would have seen in the last clip. Pretty tough going all the way up there, and Jess was trying to push me off the side as well. You can see Spence there waving to Ricky, who was the guy who had organised the trip, and one of the other team who was working their way back down. But yeah, so we walked up onto this peak, which was pretty tough going. We had to kind of start a little bit, wait for everyone to recover, and then continue up. But once we got up there, obviously we were rewarded with these views, which were, once again, just absolutely spectacular. We then proceeded to walk all the way along the ridge line because we didn't really fancy going back down the way we'd come, which was good. Once again, the video is not doing it justice in terms of actually how steep it was. There's a bit further along which kind of shows that left-hand side, it's just a cliff edge basically. So this bit here where Spencer's going down, he's basically saying, right, it's very exposed here on the left-hand side. So you can see there, it's basically just a ledge. And that is kind of what we were walking along. So quite unnerving at points. Obviously, we had to be quite careful with our footing. And just, yeah, take a bit of extra care as we kind of walked along this ridge line. But as you can see, it is amazing up here. The views were incredible. And we got down to live and tell the tale. So I think a big part of this, and I think we do touch on it, Spence kind of talks about it a bit further on in this video, is psychologically, it's a bit of a mind game, because as you're walking along this kind of peak, you're looking at how harsh the kind of drops are on your left-hand side, and the right-hand side wasn't much better, although because it's got grass, it looks absolutely fine. But really, it's like walking along a track in a woodland. There's no real difference, is there? It's just unnerving because you do have that constant potential danger, despite, you know, never actually getting into any trouble. So, although it is unnerving, it was fine. The path was good, and we walked all the way along this ridge line, and then came back on ourselves and went all the way back down to the valley that we originally came up. But yeah, I think in the moment sometimes it can be quite disconcerting.
I want to see a little smile on your face here.
There it is.
There
I
you
had to have
is.
a word with myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Fucking hurry up.
Well,
They're leaving you behind.
Nah, mate.
They're doing a Ricky.
no.
No trolls there.
They're doing a Ricky.
It is very easy to let your mind get you crack fast.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me, and it will happen to me again. I just kind of have to block it out.
Yeah. Slow it down, block it out.
Yeah. Because you know what? You can't just fall over off the cliff.
You
It doesn't
sure?
happen. Yes. Your
Promise.
feet, your legs and your feet work perfectly well. Just as well as when they're on the flat.
I'm blaming you.
So
Yeah, it's just the exposure, isn't it?
Yeah.
it is. But I honestly also, and I'm not great at it, but I think the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
I'm capable of ignoring it.
Yeah,
I just have to remind myself to ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there we have it. Some wise words from Mr. Mountain Goat himself, Spence. And yeah, just look at how epic this is. Just with that mountain range in the background, and with Spence walking ahead. So we came up over there, walked all the way down, around to there, came all the way down, back up and over, around. Now we're coming back down. Hey?
Then when you think, oh, we've got to get back over there.
Yeah. Now we're just coming down a ridge, homeward bound. Oh, there we go. I think so.
Right, all three of you on there. Right, wait there.
Yeah, that's the thing. It seems like it takes so long coming up. You just forget how much quicker it is going down. No. All the way up there.
We left the chalet 6 hours ago.
Oh, well, that loop up and down has taken us an hour.
What?
From when we left Ricky to now, it's just over an hour.
No, it's good. So as you could hear, we had been out for 6 hours at this point, and we were now on the final descent. Probably we ended up doing a total of about 6.5 hours of actual time on feet, where about 4 of that was uphill and then 2 was downhill, just because once again it's so quick to come back down. But yeah, on the home straight. So this is what we went up today. Obviously came all the way back down through the valley. We're just going back along where we went earlier. As you would have seen, pretty hairy at points today. It was windy going up, so didn't really do a huge amount of filming. And then at the top, walking along that ridge line, it's pretty precarious. It was pretty much a straight drop off the side. And now we're just heading back to the gondola down, going along the same kind of forest path that we came along earlier. Weirdly, haven't done a huge distance. Like yesterday we did, I think 10 miles. Oh no, a bit longer, 11 miles. Today probably not even done 7 or 8. But the sense we've done and the kind of climbing up and down, it's been a lot bigger. So all in all, good day. Here's the guys. I mean, even some of these bits, like, look down there. So that's what we went up, all the way up there. Even the paths here, pretty precarious at times. You won't want to fall off. So yeah, that brings us to the end of day 2 out of the mountains. So from here we just headed all the way back down. It's probably about another half an hour or so till we got off this path, back onto the track we were on before, and then back down to grab a drink under the gondola. All in all, good day.